Okay, so lately I've been doing videos really every week. No one wants to get, especially when we're going down. No one wants to get bad news every day. But last week in my video, I said we really need, like, we had a good rally, and I was, a little bit more neutral to bullish, um, but that we really needed to close above 42,000. Um, we had, uh, we didn't quite get, we were almost above 40. Well, but it was 39,865. If you're looking at the Coinbase price. But this week it looks like we're going to go above 40. And I said, we needed to close above 40,000 to go to the upper levels. But what happened? I mean, we were kind of, we had the nine. This was on the 29th. So I did that video last week, started, that was the first. So, and I gave an outlook that we could be in 1 to 4 candle correction. We went a little bit more, but we went about 1 to 4 candles. We had a green two above a green one above the nine. Pretty sure I mentioned that in that video. As soon as you had this, you could have gone. You could have taken a long position, and the target. I mean, let's see. We would have already had. So nine. I did that video on it was the first. Right here, we had a retest. We were looking for consolidation. Yeah, so we would have had a retest of this area here. No, we didn't quite get there, but now we did. That's why I didn't delete it off of the chart. So here's the nine. We got a retest of a green number. Retesting this nine. So I can get this off of my chart here. So we would have been here. This candle here would have been developing. We got the retest of the nine. We came down. We didn't quite get that back down to this four, which is what I thought could possibly happen. So let's look what happened when we actually really started rallying. So it was on the 5th. I believe that was what, like Thursday? So yeah, that was Thursday. We had an early morning dip, but we had increased CMF. I think on the hourly, you even saw it more there, right here. So we had the nine. I can bring up my moving averages, and then the CMF. So we closed. We closed above the 30 MA. We came down, had the nine. I believe the RSI was also oversold on the hourly. It was here. And then what we had, you can see the CMF was increasing significantly as price dipped, right? So we had here, it gave you about an hour. You had a little while once you got the signal. So we went oversold. CMF started to rise. Right here, you could have been conservative and waited till here until we had this price jump until we closed right at 40,000 on the hourly. But the signal to buy was really at right around 8 o'clock. So right whenever the traditional markets were opening up, Bitcoin was dipping. A lot of people were bearish. We can look at the funding rate. Funding rate had went negative. I think on the 4-hour it went positive for a little bit here. It went positive after the rally. Then went negative, and it's negative now. What was it on the daily? So on the daily we stayed, pretty much bearish. But I mean, this is positive movement, and our weekly triple MA had we could have anticipated the move. So here you would have gone in, 15%, but you could have anticipated the move on right here. The CMF was kind of stayed neutral to maybe moderately bearish, but once we got this price movement towards probably the end of the week, right when I did that video, you could have anticipated that cross and then went in, and then we had such just big movement, and we were, we finally closed above this 41,322, which was good. Here, I mean, it's really good here. So let's look at the daily, 41,322. Yeah, see that this would have given you the signal to buy as well. You wouldn't have got it on the 5th, but the next day it would have told you to buy. Because you had a green 2 above a green 1 above the 9. So we retested this area. We didn't quite get to the 4-hour. Back down, but that's okay. We don't necessarily have to. I mean, this is looking bullish. I know that there's an infrastructure bill in the Senate right now, or being debated in the Senate. There's a section in there that talks about cryptocurrencies. It's basically what they're trying to do is there was one version of it, and then now there's two amendments. One is they're both calling for greater tax clarity, so that they're trying to make sure that everyone's paying their taxes on this stuff, because there's still ways to not claim try to trick the system and not pay your taxes, at least if you're in the U.S., probably abroad as well. So that's what that's for. But one of the versions actually cracks down a lot on like DeFi applications and Uniswap and Ethereum, basically proof of stake tokens. And it also doesn't protect. It basically just protects proof of work networks and sellers of software and hardware. Because everybody else would be considered transmitters of basically a currency. So that would require you to do reporting. Anyone who uses your platform, you would have to provide reports of any transactions they did, which is kind of an impossible task. So that would put probably a hamper on a lot of those, Uniswap, those decentralized exchanges, all those projects that are developing in the altcoin space. That would be bad. The first one is a little bit more lenient on that. Either way, Bitcoin's fine on both ends, but the second amendment to the second proposed amendment to that part of the bill, which is provided by I can't remember the senator. Basically, one's the Lummis bill, and the other one that's the one that, as a whole, everybody wants to get passed. If either one of those is going to get put into that infrastructure bill, the second one they don't, because it's not. Even though it's good for proof of work networks and suppliers of hardware, software for, holding your private keys, it's not really favorable for developers. Where the first one, the Lummis one, is, it's better. I mean, if they're going to regulate, that's the preferred one. I mean, you can type in Google search as much as on Google and look at the full extent, or go to Twitter and look at the full extent, because there's a lot of coverage there. But I don't want to get into the weeds of that. That's stuff you can research and do. But what I see interesting here, we're right at the 30 MA on the weekly. But if we close above prior week's high and above 40,000, extremely bullish. We're gonna probably we're pretty much at mid 40s. We'll probably go upper 40s to probably 50,000. What I really wanted to highlight, though, is that one of the indicators that basically has been extremely good at giving signals to buy the hash ribbons. It's hash. We had the crackdown in China, and I said as soon as miners recover, then we start to see good movement. And whenever we initially fell back in, I believe May here, whenever Elon tweeted all that stuff, and we had all this energy FUD, and then we had China crack down on miners. It wasn't. I said until hash rate recovered, whenever we were kind of down here, we weren't gonna get bullish price action. And
hash rate started to recover right around here, right around the end of July. And you can see that these hash ribbons have started to compress. And as soon as they cross, which will be sometime next week, at the rate that we're going, it's going to give you an all-in buy. I mean, these have been extremely good at giving you the buy signal. There's actually, I have one here that shows the back testing, and it'll give you the list of trades. It's populating. I can hide this. Let's see what we have. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. What did that give me? Did it just freeze my computer? It did. That's weird. The link sends you to some odd, I don't know. Yeah, it sends you to like some law firm. I'm not sure what's going on there. I kind of want to see what kind of settings they had to set, but it doesn't matter. You would have had a net profit of, about 60,000%. I mean, 6,000%. What I really want to show is the list of trades. So back in 2015, I want to show the recent ones. So the recent ones, 160%, 44%. This was the latest one. It's showing an exit, but the exit is truly not whenever these cross and then whenever these go. That's not the way this works. This is really just an entry. But the person who developed this back tester of the hash ribbons, this strategy for the hash ribbons, I guess had to settle on when am I going to exit. The exit is, they're saying whenever gives you a capitulation, this little thing right here, it says capitulation. But really you would have exited on other, you can see here, close order, on other metrics. This is just an entry. This just gives you an entry. This just signals an entry. It doesn't actually technically, the person who created this, I've actually kind of had some discussions with back and forth. This just gives you the entry. So even though you see closed, you could have used other indicators probably to close much sooner, especially in 2017. This will load. It's only going back to 20. It's taking a while to load. There we go. Yeah. Come on. Yeah, because see, it would have got you in way. Let's look at it. 2017. Right here. Because this is where the entry is. Right? Oh, yeah. Right here. It got you in September at $611. Got you out at $6,000. Basically right before the plunge. You still would have had a 900% return. Still, that's amazing. But you would have used other metrics to get out sooner. There was a lot of other things that would have got you out much sooner rather than the capitulation in the mining. Because true miner capitulation didn't actually come till the dip right here in November. And that didn't really finish out till December. And then you had another metric that this actually went pretty good. You have another, so this one would have got you it in January here at 9,000. But there was another metric in the Ichimoku cloud that would have got you in within 2 weeks of the bottom. I'll show that real quick. But so what I want to show though is that the returns are good. Yeah, even if you're going on this long, once the hash rates, So all this is the 30 MA and the 60 MA of hash rate. So once they close, and then you get a 10 MA and 20 MA of price. That's where this buy comes in. So it would have given you 15%, 44%, and the last one, the real buy would have been here at 9,000. It would have got you out at 13, which I find really weird because you would have wanted to hold that, but it still would have got you in right when we would have broken out before the previous all-time high, and it would have got you out at 50. So not bad. Like I said, there's other metrics, but this has been very good. As far as losing trades, there's only been 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. But this is really 4 out of... There's much more in the history. This looks very maybe misleading if you look at this. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's like 4 out of the 9 trades were bad, but this is the returns are really good. So this might not be. Yeah, see, there's only 4. Oh, that's contracts held. 9 trades. So 4 out of 9 were bad. Yeah, that's right here. Actually, it shows it. But this is much better. 55% profitable. Actually, in trading strategies, if you're 40% profitable, but you have good risk management, that's actually considered a good strategy. So that this is above 50 is good. But like I said, there's much more things that would have gotten you out earlier. What you want to do with this is you want to use this in, along with other things that give you entries. What I'm saying is that considering all the other metrics and that we're going to get a hash ribbon close, that's probably going to signal a buy. Likely going to be a good signal to enter if you haven't already entered. And it's going to give you a signal to enter, and you should have some upside. So once we go here, once we take out these mid 40s, where's the next resistance going to be? It's going to be here at this 1. It's going to be back at 60,000, and then we'll probably consolidate, and then we'll break out. That's going to happen over the next probably 6 weeks. So, and what I was targeting whenever we were falling down in May, I said it's going to take a couple of months. It's going to take 3 to 4 months, and we're right here within 3 to 4 months. So I think that timeline is going to line up. If you can go back at home at my old videos, probably around mid-May to late May, where I was talking about that, and I'm very clear that until hash rate starts to recover, we're probably not going to get positive price movement, and we did, and we're about 3 to 4 months from where we were. So we're looking at having a good month of August and probably September. And before the end of September, we'll most likely, I'm going to say high, maybe 70% chance we're back up to around 60,000. And that's where we'll see significant resistance, I think. I'm not sure if we'll just bust right through the resistance. I anticipate at least a couple of days of price action around here, around 60,000, at least, say 4 to 5 days of almost a week of price action for us to consolidate here. Because if I can look at, if I'm looking at the RSI and I'm looking at my CMF, which is 2 indicators that I've been using a lot, and I rely on. I mean, we're good. Yeah, we're overbought on the daily and on the 4-hour. We'll probably get some price pullback maybe in the beginning of the week, since we've run up more than 10% this week and more than 10% last week. We'll get some resistance, I think, maybe around the 6-day. We might get some bearish divergence movements here on the RSI if it starts to come down, and on the CMF. But overall, this is very, very bullish. I can go ahead and hide these out. I only brought those up, these 20,000 areas, because whenever the world was falling, I guess for everybody around 30,000, they were talking about those areas, and I had talked about if we did break down, that's where we would go. I wasn't quite convinced that we were. There was a lot of other metrics. I know I'd mentioned that some fundamentals had shown that we were getting bullish divergence. So those finally caught up. We finally got good price movement. Oh, look, we're kind of coming out of this channel, or we already did. So that channel target would be, let's draw it out. Let's see. I'm going to draw it here, here, to here. So the channel target for this, and I was going to wait to do a video till tomorrow, but we've just gotten too much price movement. So our target for this channel is right around right around 50. What is it clicking on? Yeah, right around like 55,000, right around there. So we'll see how this pans out. we could get a breakout and then here, which is I'll cover silver because actually on Thursday I was looking at silver, gold, and gold miners. They didn't look good, and I know I was talking about them last week that we would potentially run, and they did not look good. I had been a little bit more bullish on them, entered some positions, but those positions basically ended neutral. Didn't really, kind of just broke even on those. But that's risk management. That's money management of your trades. They didn't look good on Thursday. I exited, and that was actually good because on Friday gold and silver just got smoked. So I think this is it for Bitcoin. Like I said, I'll go over those real quick. Hold up. I'm gonna go over one more. I'm gonna go over. So I know mining had gotten crushed, right? This is July. This was a. Let me pull it up on the weekly. This was a miner, a Bitcoin miner, Bit Digital. I'm not sure exactly where they're at, but it actually topped out in February, much sooner than Bitcoin did. Because if I go to Bitcoin didn't really top out till April, so it got close. Whenever we had this down day, this 20 down week, I think that's when Bit Digital really started falling down. What week was that? That was February 22nd. All right, February. Another crack at it. Yeah, that week. So it started getting some bearish movement, but there was massive divergence on the CMF and on the RSI. And yes, this is it's like a. I mean, they're miners, so they hold some Bitcoin, but not much. Their revenue's coming in from mining Bitcoin, so they're definitely a seller of Bitcoin because they need the cash to run their business. So I'm looking at correlation coefficient. So I'm like, how well correlated is this to Bitcoin? And I'm going to apply that. So my correlation coefficient is, it can be very correlated, which is basically 0.8 and above. It can be very uncorrelated. So there was good correlation here. This is not. I'm looking at for 0.8 and above. So it was having correlation, then it didn't. Even here in 2019, there was some bullish. Yeah, this was all like bullish movement for Bitcoin. I can throw Bitcoin on here. I believe I can. Where can I do that at? Compare here. So I'm going to throw a Bitcoin price and then show you the correlation coefficient. Okay, here's Bitcoin price. All right. So here in March, this is whenever we had the plus token. So we had capitulation in December. Plus token started taking off. Even though Bitcoin price was rising, it was actually negatively correlated. So price was going down. You would think in that run up, this would have been, following, but it didn't. And it actually flattened out. And then we had March. And then here, it found correlation, then negative correlation. So this is where you would have wanted to buy, all the way back down to like 50 cents. I was watching this knowing that Bitcoin had dumped. This is not necessarily correlated with Bitcoin, but it started to get some correlation. And then we had correlation. So miners had gotten, crushed because of the banning. But then I'm like, okay, how bad is this miner? It's just small. This company's real little. It was like the market cap was very small. I think it was like tens of millions. Let me double check that. Yeah, I think the market cap was like 200 million whenever I looked at it. It's almost close to $1 billion now since we had good price run up. So I'm looking at this. We had this 9 here. I got in right around 5.9 between. I'd bought a couple times, so between like $4 and $6. And what I saw was that we had a 9. We were going to retest this, right? So we didn't quite get oversold, but we were getting CMF rising quickly. And you can see it on the 4-hour. There was a lot of areas here. If this will load. So a lot of people like to trade alts, but miners move very aggressively. And me just being in the space for a little while, knowing that we can get big price movements in these miners. Just I was like, I'm gonna look at a few. So I'm pretty sure I started looking at these in right around mid-July. I can look real quick. So I started looking at the miners. Trying to pull up my log. I can't quite find it right now, but it was around mid-July. We had a 9 here on the 4-hour. We had the RSI. With CMF was coming up. So I'm like, this can't fall much more. Am I going to get massive price movement back to its all-time high? Possible. And we had a retest and we started breaking back down. But the CMF started consistent to go up. RSI, we got new lows with RSI going up. We had bullish divergence of our indicators. So I'm like, I'm going to take a position. And I did. So we retested this. We went right through this resistance like nothing. We had some resistance here for a couple of days. Finally closed above it here. Had a red day, 3-4%. And then we broke out. So now we have areas for retest. And this could fall significantly. This 16 is an area that we could possibly retest. We are overbought. We're not quite overbought as we are here. I do think that the Bitcoin cycle is not over yet. These companies are tiny, but they do hold Bitcoin on their balance sheets. And I think there's a lot of tiny miners that could do very well because a lot of the hash rate went down. So if they went out and bought more miners, or they're now they're not, well, compared to the market share that they now have more market share because the competition, basically, China basically destroyed the competition for them for a little while. These miners are going to get redistributed. But right now they're doing very well. So yeah, we're not quite overbought as we are here. We could get there. There is bearish divergence here. I would have liked to see the CMF rise a lot quicker. We could see that over the next maybe week. The 4-hour looked. Why is this taking so long to load? Let's see. This is already running over. So the 4-hour looked the same. We have a 9. Wow, that printed the 9 exactly as the daily. So that's fun. Or that's good. I need to mark something here, right here. I need to make that blue. That's another retest area. So 19, we could get there. Oh, even the all-time high on the 4-hour is marking high probability of being retested. And I think this will see its previous all-time high before the end of the year. So that's $30. Bitcoin continues past its previous all-time high of 60,000. Yes, this isn't always correlated with Bitcoin. If the hash rate starts to recover significantly compared to what it was, because we can look at the hash rate now. So say we get back, and it's not nowhere near close to all-time highs, but say we get back to the price all-time highs, and we get to the hash rate, back to the hash rate. Oh, wow. I wonder. So this started falling in February, but hash rate was high, and then it dipped. This was whenever it really fell. So I wonder if I can use hash rate as a precursor as to when price could fall here. Like if I compared that information. Let's see. So price. So May 13th. Yeah, there was no correlation here, but what was this one? January 4th price. I mean, this I might have to do some comparative analysis between these, but it looks like hash rate it's negatively correlated to hash rate, because if I go to April 22nd, it started to rise whenever hash rate started to go down. So it might be, just off of visually looking at it, maybe, but I could maybe possibly use a recovery in hash rate, all-time high hash rate, uh, and then based on where Bitcoin price is, I may be able to compare those three using my technicals here, obviously, but I might be able to determine where this could price, because like I said, this isn't always cross correlated with Bitcoin, so I have to watch it. But I'm looking for being 80 to 90 RSI on both the daily and the weekly. CMF, definitely bullish divergence, and then I'll probably go out. But I mean, this is small, so we're almost a billion. If we go up to $100, that'll be 4 billion. Basically, back whenever it was here, it was right around a little over a billion. But I think we'll smash that, considering the environment. And sky's the limit. So I was like looking at numbers, and I was like, okay, if if this ends up being a meme stock like AMC and GameStop did, they both hit around 30 billion. I don't think this will hit 30 billion, but if it ends up being a meme stock and gets the attention that those do, because like I said, it was like 200 million. It's now almost a billion since we had the big price run up over the past 2 weeks. I mean, it's up a lot, over 100%, depending on when you got in, potentially 200%. This could be like a $400 to $600 stock. If it becomes a meme stock, is that possible? It's possible, but that would just be insane. It'd probably be the biggest mining, as far as valuation goes, out of all the mining companies, but then you would have to factor in fundamentals, like, do they have as many miners as, say, Marathon Mining? If they end up getting bigger than all of them, you'd have to do a little bit more digging. But if I don't want to do that, I just go based on my technicals. There's going to be a time where this could hit. I mean, we're almost getting a breakout on the CMF, so that would be good if we get above 0.5. And we're right at the all-time high of price, and we're getting ready to break out of the CMF on the weekly. Maybe we go a little bit overbought, but then we get a pullback of, maybe 10 or 20% because this thing's run up so much. This is going to be a wild ride, basically, what I'm trying to say. But it could still be extremely profitable, and I think this could easily hit $100, before the end of this cycle. And if I think this cycle is going to run to the end of the year or the beginning of next year, this could run up a lot. It could run up significantly, because compared to the valuation of the other miners, Marathon right now is worth, let's see what Marathon is worth. Marathon Digital Holdings currently has a market cap of 3 billion. So it's 3x this. So 3x this would say be anywhere between 50 and 60,000. I mean, $50 and $60. So that's still possible. Put us above. That would be a good breakout point, possibly. Still put us in 2 to 3. Like I said 3x. So 3x from here, 200% return. Like I said, something I was watching. People like to trade alts, but if I do want risk, rather than trading alts and possibly trading my Bitcoin for alts, or have to do the USDT or USDC into alts, I would rather just trade something on a stock exchange that has that could possibly be a proxy to Bitcoin and get maybe bigger returns than Bitcoin in the near term. In the cycles, and then I can just get out of it whenever everything turns bearish and these start to lose money, and I can come back again and change and trade it cyclically like I did the previous cycle. because this was actually not around the previous cycle. It wasn't. It had a mini bull in it, and it showed negative price action, but there could definitely be a cyclical trade here because this ran up, what, 100, over 100% here in these weeks in February of 2019. So could be a good stock to come back and, go in and out of. But you better be on your game because this could, it could really bring you down if you're not careful. All right, so I'll go over gold real quick, and then I'll be out of here. So, so we had this breakdown on gold. I'm gonna bring in the triple MAs because that's so. Yeah, we hit a 9. We came down, and then we were getting resistance here, and you could have anticipated this close and try to get in. Even here, we did. I think we got a 4-hour close above the previous all-time high, so that would have got you 50% in. But as soon as we closed, because we were like in a little mini channel, and you can see it better on the daily. As soon as we closed, and we had the 9 here. Did we come back and we did retest it? We had the 9. This was the resistance. We couldn't get past it. If we could have got a 2 above a 1 above the 9, I think we would have had enough momentum to get up here. But we didn't. And then as soon as we closed above this area of support, I'm like, we're going lower. And then we already have our moving averages starting to go down. I'm like, it's time to get out of this. We had the 9. We came down. We came up. This is a lower high. We're getting ready to fall from this support. We could next week. And then we're going all the way back down to 1676, right around here for sure. So I said it was time to get out. Historically, they're like gold is a store of value. It is at times, but overall, it's not. It's actually a horrible store of value. It hasn't kept up with inflation. It hasn't kept up with the stock market. Long term, like extremely long term, I think gold is fully industrialized. I mean, I haven't done a formal poll or asked any, but there might be data on there. Like, how many people are actually wearing jewelry? Because there's a large case for gold. Oh, jewelry, but I think a lot of people are getting away from like materialistic things. It might just be me in this crypto space where everything's getting digitalized and tokenized. I just don't think there's going to be a lot of value put in this whenever I have a digital gold version to store my value in Bitcoin. I think gold goes the way of aluminum. Aluminum once was the most expensive metal in the world. I think it goes more industrialized where, you would almost want that, where gold is cheaper so that we can use it for its physical properties and more technology. That'd be better. So, I don't know. I'm out of it. I'm out of silver. Silver looked like trash. Way before gold did. We're hitting the 8. Yeah, we can get the 9 and get a recovery. What is this green line here? We came back below this 9 here, which didn't get retested with a green number. We're coming back down. It did bounce off of it a little bit. There is the Fibonacci here. I think we go lower. But silver was looking way worse. And I think, it's in this channel. It's in a better position technically than gold, but the swings are much more greater. You can see it was down 4%. But we can go all the way back down here, which is another 10% from where we're at. And then we could start to bounce. But I really thought we would get momentum here to break out, and we didn't. It just faded. We had this bad week, came down, thought we would get some recovery. If you were trying to trade gold and silver together, could have taken a position in silver, but then we had 1%, and then we just failed. And I think this is going to fail even more and go back down to this lower channel. So I think that's all I want to talk about. I might be doing these a little bit more frequently since we're getting more price action and maybe daily updates are better. But for the most part, we've come. Oh, nope. I don't want to look at BitPay. I want to look at it on Coinbase. We've come back here. We've broken out of this channel. Target of around mid 55. We've retested an area that we had back from May, so that's good. We're looking in the mid 40s. We get a weekly close above 40,000. That's great. Very bullish. We'll get the hash rate ribbon buy sometime next week. Compared to what it's doing on the 4 hour and the daily, that could give us. We'll use that in conjunction with those, so we get maybe a little bit better price on the entry. I mean, you're basically chasing your nickel. You're trying to nickel and dime it. You can just go on. You technically could go all in on that hash ribbon buy, even though our triple MA is not telling us that we should go all in yet. There could be hash rate buy consolidation for a few weeks or a few days, maybe some negative price action. Maybe we get a 10%, 20% drawdown, possibly. I would say probably more than 5% after that hash rate buy, but then we're going to go back up. So, because this is looking very bullish. Let's look at Mayor multiples. If that's recovered yet, hasn't hit that bullish sign yet. That's 50,000, and then where we would be in the well, this is coming up. This doesn't get bullish until we're above the yellow, but I would say, well, we're in the bullish area whenever we enter the yellow, and that is at 50,000. And then our Mayor multiples saying that should get anywhere between 100 and 200,000. These are just nice to look at. Stock to flow. Then we pulled back. We can still get up to this 100,000. That's still on. And the model never broke. It got tested extremely. I mean, where are we at? We're at 100, so we should be at around 50,000, and we could get there within the next week or two, to be kind of closer to where we should be on the stock to flow model. But this area right here is definitely going to be an outlier in the historical, analysis of Bitcoin. This is, cycle repeat still saying we hit 200,000. But we'll see. That's just a nice to look at. But appreciate it, and thanks for watching.